Hi folks, I'm Nick Bruning from netplan.com.au and welcome to another strategic session on how to make the most out of your retirement savings. This time we're going to talk about the Centrelink gifting rules, probably the most misunderstood aspect of Australian social security that I know of. Lots of confusion and lots of misunderstandings on how the system works. So today we're going to explain exactly how the gifting rules apply and what you can do to reduce their effects. Okay, so what are we talking about? Well, for starters, folks, there is nothing to stop you giving what you want to whoever you want, whenever you want. Okay, so there's a lot of myths out there that somehow Jim Chalmers, the treasurer in Canberra, is sitting there with a camera in front of your computer, having a look at what you're doing and making sure that you don't give anything in the way that you're not entitled to. The only thing gifting can affect, frankly, is Centrelink, social security benefits, your age pension, and only if you're not receiving a pension or if you're only receiving a part pension because of the means test. So here's the first point. If you're receiving a full pension and if Centrelink have all the information on all of your financial assets and bits and pieces, giving stuff to your kids is not going to affect your pension, okay? There are some instances if you've accessed money through the house, perhaps through a reverse mortgage or something like that where it can affect you. But generally speaking, if you're on a full pension, there'll be no effect by you giving money away to your kids if that's what you want to do. So essentially the gifting rules are there to make sure that you don't deprive yourself of assets and resources to get more out of the system, okay? So that's basically it. We have a means tested system here in Australia that says that if you have the means to either fully or partially fund your own retirement, you're compelled to do so through those two tests, the income test and the asset test. There's another session on how those tests have been recently increased, and it explains how the means tests actually operate. So under the gifting rules, Centrelink will allow you to reduce your assets by up to $10,000 per year with a maximum of $30,000 over a rolling 5-year period. Okay? So when I say they allow you to reduce your assets, that's what I'm talking about. So you can legitimately drop your assets by $10,000 a year. Now, why on earth would you want to do that? Well, the mathematics on this is startling. If you're affected by the asset test, each $1,000 over the threshold reduces your pension by $3 per fortnight. So follow that maths through. If you reduce your assets by $10,000, you'll see an immediate increase of $30 per fortnight up to the point you get the full age pension, but $30 a fortnight for the rest of your life. So $30 a fortnight by 26 fortnights is $780 a year, folks, for a $10,000 gift to your kids. That works out to be 7.8% return on your money, courtesy of Centrelink. And you've helped out your kids, and you're actually getting more income from it than you would if you'd parked that money in the bank. Crazy system, but that's how it works. So you can give, as I say, $10,000 per year away with a maximum of $30,000 over 5. So what happens if you gave away $10,000 on, say, the 30th of June and another $10,000 on the 1st of July in effectively the same year? Well, guess what? You've got them in 2 separate financial years. So in the space of a couple of days, you can legitimately reduce your assets by $20,000. $10,000 in financial year 1, $10,000 in financial year 2. Of course, you've got to wait till July next year before you can make that third installment, if you like, of $30,000 to keep you in under that 5-year rolling rule. But here's another little thing I bet you didn't realise. When you make a gift to one of your loved ones, that clock starts ticking from the date of the gift. So let's pluck a number out of the air. Let's say today is the 5th of August 2025 and I give my kids $100,000. Divide it 3 ways, whatever. Centrelink will legitimately reduce my assets by $10,000, okay? But that $90,000 simply stays in the system as though I've still got it. So I don't get any more pension. I don't lose any pension, but the $90,000 stays in there under the income test and the asset test for 5 years to the day. So folks, August 2030, 5 years from 2025 to the day, that $90,000 disappears off Centrelink systems. And if I'm still an asset tested pensioner at that time, I'll get 90 times the $3, an extra $270 per fortnight boost in my pension 5 years from now. So, as I say, it doesn't matter how much you give away. If you're asset tested and income tested, it'll reduce your financial assets by 10,000. If it's more than the 10 grand, the excess amount stays in the system for 5 years to the day, but then drops off. One other point, the best and easiest way of gifting money to your loved ones is simply by cash. Transfer the money through bank accounts or whatever. If you decide to give them fixed assets, so I'm talking things like shares or land or something like that, which, perhaps you've got a big block that you've subdivided up and you want to give all of your kids a block of land or something like that, that's perfectly fine. The problem here is that that's regarded as a disposal under the Tax Act. So you could be up for capital gains tax by making a gift of an asset like shares or property, which is why we say that cash is so important, because that avoids that capital gains tax liability. And don't for a moment think you can do something like, oh, well, I'll give it to them for half price. The tax office requires that tax to be calculated based on market value, as will the stamp duty office in your state. So you can't get around it by giving them discounts, anything like that. If it involves transactions with family or close associates, the authorities are going to require independent valuations to make sure that the taxman doesn't miss out. But absolutely, gifting money away can help you, not only boosting your pension, but it'll also help out your loved ones. Perhaps they're struggling a bit with the mortgage or whatever, and many are these days. It gives you the benefit of seeing them enjoy the spoils, if you like, while you're still around, rather than them having to spend it when you've gone and shuffled off this mortal coil. There's more great tips for pensioners and people on a part pension as part of the netplan.com.au program, which is designed to teach people how to develop their very own financial plan rather than spending thousands of dollars with a financial planner. Folks, it's easier than you think. All you need to do is understand how the system works, and that's exactly what we do via the netplan.com program. And you can ask me questions on any aspect of your finances if you wish to. You're dealing with a totally legally independent financial planner who has no links to any products. In fact, more than happy for you to use your existing super funds and investments. It's all about good strategy. And that's what we're all about here at netplan.com.au. If you like more of this stuff, feel free to subscribe. We try to put out regular updates and information for people to enjoy and benefit from. And thanks for listening and watching. I'm Nick Bruning, and this is netplan.com.au.